Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 300. I can't believe it, 300. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited to be here. Welcome to the show. I'm Phil Graham. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how we maximize Facebook ad ROI and return on ad spend with 4 key metrics. You know, the real problem is most people run ads without a strategy. And even worse, they then make changes to those ads without knowing how to evaluate data and without a high level of skill in making changes, because they just make changes based off of a whim, or it's like, oh, it's not working yet, I better change it. And what they're really doing is just gambling compared to what is the solution. It's building your skill and getting better at running ads, learning how to measure and evaluate the data properly so that you can then take actions based off of the data, not on your emotion, not on some whim, not on some gamble or chance. And so doing that means you got to get good at evaluating certain types of data and metrics and measuring them properly. That is a huge secret to our success. And so many people just randomly turn ads off or make changes way sooner than they should. And that causes a lot of problems and causes them to lose a lot of money. And I don't want that to be you. So I'm excited to show you guys what we do and how we do it so you can try this too. And like I said, 300 episodes, that's crazy. Every single week, 6 years. I love this stuff. And I'm super glad you're here, my friends. Now, if you want to get in touch, if you're looking for some one-on-one coaching so you can learn ads the right way, by the way, or if you're looking for somebody to run your ads for you, or if you've got some ideas for topics you want me to cover on this podcast, for any of that stuff, you can reach out to me by going to philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and let's connect. So let's jump right in. This stuff is so important to your success. And in terms of metrics, we do it many ways, but one of the most important things that we measure is 4 key pieces of data. And it's important to note that beyond these 4 key pieces of data, there's a ton of sub data. I call it sub data that we measure that comes first. And if you don't measure the sub data properly, you're probably going to be turning off winners way too soon, and you're probably going to be wasting a lot of money. And you'll never get the real accurate data on these 4 pieces that I'm going to teach you today. And you're not going to get that accurately. So it's going to hurt you. So you don't want to do that. There's more to come on what I call the sub data in a future episode, because if you don't learn that along with this, it's not going to be great. I'm going to be teaching you all of it, but I can't teach it all in one episode, or else it would be way too long. So I'm going to start with the 4 key pieces of data. So here it is. Here's what we track. And this is a key: consistently, not just once in a while, but we track it all the time. And we're always trying to improve on it. Data point number 1 is, what is the lifetime value of your customer, patient, or client? How much are they worth lifetime? Not just in one transaction. We still measure one transaction too in terms of value, but we also think long-term and look at the lifetime value. So if they just buy from you once and that's it, whatever they spend that one time is the lifetime value. But for a lot of people, their customers come back and they buy more. And that adds to the number. So you really need to know that. If you're a savvy marketer, you're going to know that. Even if it's not exact, you're going to know the approximate lifetime value. There's a lot you can do with this number. And by knowing this number, because this can guide a lot of your decisions on how much you should spend and why. And it won't just be, random. It'll be based off of this data. It's like super important. So knowing your lifetime customer or client value is really important to your success. How we use that. I'm going to cover in another episode because that's going to take more time. We're going to have to kind of go in depth on that. But the first step is knowing that number. Make sure you guys start tracking it if you're not already. If you already know it, then that's amazing because that'll help you with the other stuff we're going to talk about. The second piece of data that we track consistently is the conversion rate. Now, what is a conversion? Well, it's many different things. Obviously, a sale is a conversion, but a lead is also a different kind of conversion. So there's different conversion rates for different things, and you should really know your industry average. And when we're working with clients, I'm always sharing, hey, here's your average for your industry. Where are you guys at and how can we improve? Because you could have perfect ads, but if it's going to a page or a site, whether it's a Shopify type site or a webinar registration page or somebody selling a course, wherever they're going, if they're going to a page that is not optimized good enough to work, then you are wasting money and you need to improve that. You shouldn't just be improving your ads. You should also be improving your landing pages and sales pages. And that is the conversion rate. That's where that comes in. So I'm going to give you guys a little example, and I'm going to use really small numbers just so you guys see, even at small numbers, a conversion rate change can make a huge difference. Shopify says that on average, all Shopify stores, they average about 1.4% of a conversion rate in terms of sales. Now, that's a pretty low number. There's a lot of bad Shopify sites, a lot of bad products. And so a lot of those are comprised of that number. For me, it's like 3 to 3.5 is more of like the average target and above. But like 1.4 is pretty low. So I would say that's very, very doable, 1.4. I would not be happy with that at all. So let's just start with that example using that low average number, 1.4. Let's assume you get 10,000 visitors to your website or your store from Facebook ads. Now, as long as you're not spending, a tiny amount of money, you should be able to get way more than 10,000 monthly. But let's just be ultra conservative and say you get 10,000 and that's it. If you get 10,000 visitors and you've got a 1.4% conversion rate, which is low, but let's just keep conservative. That means you would get 140 orders, 140 in a month. Okay. Now, let's say we raise your conversion rate. So you're not only working on improving your ads, but you're actually working on improving your website or your store or your landing page or sales page. This is for everybody, by the way, whether you're in e-commerce, an agency, a service, a course, a digital content creator, no matter what, this is for everybody. So make sure you guys know this applies to you. Let's say you improve your conversion rate from 1.4% to 3.5. To me, 3.5 would be a good average for sales. Okay. It's not blowing it out of the water. I've seen some that are much higher. So it's not too much to ask to say, hey, let's improve it to 3.5. That's like a reasonable number. The same amount of traffic, just 10,000 in a month at 3.5% conversion is 350 orders. The previous example at 1.4% was only 140 orders. So you would literally get 350 orders. That's 210 more orders or sales just from increasing that conversion rate from 1.4 to 3.5. That is huge. That is a significant increase. I wanted you to see how big of a difference that can make. Add that up. How much is the stuff that you sell, the product or service you sell? And if you had 210 more orders on top of the 140, how much more would that bring you? I mean, it makes a huge difference. So knowing your conversion rate, number one, knowing it, and then number two, improving it is critical to your success. And this is a number we track all the time. So improving it, that's going to be a topic on a future episode because that's a whole episode and more. I will be teaching you conversion rate stuff to improve these numbers because they're so important. But just tracking it and trying little things to try and improve it can make a difference. So make sure you guys do that. All right, number 3, average order value. So when somebody buys from you, on average, how much do they spend? Again, we're going to keep this example super conservative and give really low numbers so it's approachable to everyone, but this works even better the higher your numbers are. But let's say you have a low cost product or service and the average order value is only $50. And again, yours could be 500, it could be 2,500, it could be 5,000. It gets even better the higher you go. But let's just say it's only $50. And you decide, all right, I'm going to work on our average order value. I want to raise that up a little bit, either by selling two of something or bundling another product or service in with it, or raising prices a little bit, or a combination of any of those things. But you aim to increase the average order value. And let's say you only increase it $15. That's not a lot. You just go from 50 to 65. Not a big difference, right? But just that $15 increase, if it's on 350 orders in a month, and assuming, again, these are really low numbers, but if it's on 350 orders, just the difference, just the increase from 50 to 65 brings you an additional $5,000, $5,250 to be exact, per month of revenue. I mean, I'll do the math. $50 times 350 orders is $17,500 for revenue. $65 times 350 orders is $22,750. So you see the increase. It makes a big difference. And that's small numbers. Imagine if your average order value is like, I don't know, $500 and you raise it up to 600 or 575. I mean, that could make a huge, significant difference to your results. So working on things like the conversion rate and your average order value, number one, knowing what they are consistently, historically, and currently. And then number two, working on improving each one of those can make a huge difference. Because even if you improve one, you could make a lot more money. Imagine if you work on improving both at the same time. How crazy is that? Like, that can make such a big impact for you. It's not even funny. So let's do an example and we'll wrap this up, and then I'll give you my fourth thing to focus on. But let's keep these small conservative numbers and let's kind of wrap this up in a 1 year time frame. So the original low conversion rate was 1.4%, and the low order value was $50. So if we go with that number over 12 months, that's $84,000 in sales. If you just raise that up to the 3.5 conversion rate and the 65 order value instead of 50, instead of 84,000 in sales, that comes out to 273,000 in sales. That's almost $190,000 in more sales without spending another penny, without spending anything additional, not risking anything more, without doing anything different. That doesn't even include improving your ads or cost per acquisition. That's just improving your conversion rate and upping your average order value. And again, those are on small conservative numbers. Imagine the difference if your prices for your products or services are higher. It's going to get even better. I mean, you could be into the hundreds of thousands or millions when it comes to improvement when you really think about it. That's how powerful it is, my friends. And last, number 4, the other thing that we really focus on is what is our cost to acquire a customer or a client or a lead? These are very important because whatever it costs you, and you're never going to really know the exact number, but just getting a ballpark figure, knowing what it costs you to get a customer, and you put that into all these other numbers, that's what makes everything work. You know what a customer is worth to you long-term, lifetime value. You know approximately what it costs to get one. And then you know how much profit you make from combining those numbers along with conversion rate and your average order value. And that's where things get exciting, because then you can scale to the moon when the numbers work. Anything that's not doing good on these numbers can be improved. Things that are already doing good could be made better. And you can try and reduce the cost of getting a customer or client while increasing your order value and increasing your conversion rate and increasing your lifetime customer value. If you're working on all 4 of those things together, that is insane because you're going to be very unique, because very few people do this kind of stuff. They just randomly run ads and they're just like, oh, it didn't work or it did work. Not sure why. But if you're doing all this stuff and you're doing the other things I teach you, doing ads based off of data, making smart decisions, imagine what kind of impact this could have for you. So just get started by tracking these numbers. And as we go on, I'll be giving you more and more info on how to improve each one of these individual numbers through your ads, through conversion optimization, and more. But I just wanted to share some things that are super important to your success, and they certainly are for us. And most people don't focus on these as much as they should. So I recommend you guys do that. So my friends, episode 300 is in the books. Thank you so much for being here. I've got a lot of exciting episodes coming up for you. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you on the next episode. philgrahamdigital.com is the website. You can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.